YouTube? It's Chris here with Almost Precision, and tonight we're going to be reloading some 12 gauge shot shells. As you saw in a previous video, we got the Lee Load-All 2, and before we get going, we're going to reference the Lee Load-All bushing chart, and tonight we're going to be reloading with some red dot. Got a whole bunch of red dot for free. And the load for our Lyman 5th edition shot shell reloading book, it calls for 17 grains for our Winchester AA12 SL wads. And on our chart, it's kind of split here. So we have the .141 at 16.4 grains and our .148 at 17.2 grains. And we can't split the difference. We're going to have to pick one bushing or the other. So I'm going to go with the higher bushing because I'm anticipating these loads managing at the slightly higher pressure. For all you out there watching this, safe side your loads unless you're sure about them. So what you need to do, and as you see we have the faceplate already removed here, you're going to pull the faceplate out and you're going to insert the correct bushing. Now, like I said, I'm going with the .148, and these are going to be 1 ounce loads. So I got the 1 ounce bushing on the other side. We're going to go ahead and get that back in there. And you're going to want to screw the faceplate back on, so bear with me here. And these screws are into plastic, so you don't need to go ham on them. Alright, keep that in mind. Also helps if you have a screwdriver that fits into the groove, right? Alright, that's secure enough. Maybe another little turn here. Okay, yeah, definitely secure enough. Alright, I'm just going to center it up for the time being here. So we have our approximate load. We know what we're putting into it. We're going to go ahead and fill this side chamber with red dot, and then we're going to fill this side with copper plated lead shot. I'm loading up something special here, okay? And side note, saw this tip from another gun tuber, and y'all might like it, is go ahead and drill a hole in this cap. So when we're done here, all we got to do is dismount the press and tip it over, and we can pour one side out at a time. You know, we can pour our shot out first or our powder out first, however we want to, instead of trying to finagle it. So I guarantee you we're going to have some left over on each side, and I don't want to leave it in the press while we let it sit probably for another couple months. So, without further ado, let's get some shot and powder in here, and we'll get to the process. Look how pretty that is. Whole bunch of copper plated lead shot right there. It's so nice. So to start this off, I got some once fired Winchester AA's, and we're gonna need to size it. Now the Leload All 2 comes with a sizing piece here. Looks like a chunk of pipe, but it's important. It's got a line on it. That line goes up, and just to double check yourself, there is a beveled bottom edge, and that goes down. That's for the rim of the 12 gauge shell. Okay, so step one is you're gonna run this down and size it. All right, and this should be stuck on there now. Okay, you see the shell's all the way in there. The rim's matched up with that beveled edge. And next, you're gonna take your primer. You're gonna drop it in this little hole here. So primer goes in this little hole right here. And as you run the ram down, this little red part is on a spring. It's going to push the primer up in there. Okay? So let's give it a go. Alright, you see we got our primer nicely seated in there. And as you run it down to prime it, it's also going to unseat this piece. Now, next in our process, we're going to need our powder. So we're going to run our bar over, give it a couple taps, since it's its first load there. Alright, and after a couple taps, you can bring it down and charge it over to shot. Now at this point, we should have powder in our case. So let's take a look. There it is. Alright, we got approximately 17 grains of red dot in our case. Now, before we run our shot in there, we need a wad. So we're going to put our wad up here and run it all the way down into the case. Bring it up. Just enough for this rod here to be about flush with the wad cedar. And then we run our charging bar back to shot. And you're gonna, or back to powder. And you're gonna run the shot down in there. Alright, and at this point we should have about an ounce of copper shot in there. Alright, next, these are 8-point crimps. And this is important because shot shells come in two sides. Well, alright, I take that back. There's a couple different kinds of crimps. Obviously, if you're running slugs, you have a round crimp or a roll crimp. But for field loads, bird loads, you either have a 6-point or an 8-point crimp. And the Leload All does both, you just have to know which one's which. Now the one on the front here, and I have it marked because, you know, I'm an idiot and I won't remember this in a few months from now, but the front one is 8 and the back one is 6. So these Winchester AA's are an 8. So we're going to line it up, and we're going to go ahead and bring the crimp down. Alright, you see we're starting to form the crimp there. Hopefully it lines up with the original crimp. If it doesn't, oh well, you're not going to get enough shots out of this as you'd hope, out of the shell. But it's good enough. And then finally, we stick it into the final crimp, run it down. There we go. Like new. Alright, let's run through this again. I'll give you guys a little close-up. Alright, so here we are for a little close-up. And I'll try and show you guys real closely. We got our shell, once fired Winchester AA. We got our sizer, ring up, beveled edge down, onto the case. And now we deprime. Alright, we are deprimed and sized. Now we're going to insert our primer into our primer cedar. And we run it down. Alright, at this point we remove our sizing ring. And we have our nicely primed case. Tuck it up in here. Run the ram down. And we have this over to powder. So we're going to give it a little tap. Get the powder in there. Run it over to shot. Alright, lift the ram up. Double check it. Make sure we got powder in there. And there is powder in there. Okay. Back in. Now for the wad. And we're going to ram the wad all the way in there. And we'll bring this up about flush with the wad cedar there. Run it back over to powder. Alright. Woo. Help that shot in there a little bit. Alright. Now we got about a shot of the copper plated lead. We're going to move on to our crimp. Our 8-point crimp. Start the crimp. Looking good. And finish our crimp. Awesome. Like factory. Alright, you guys. I got another 23 to go here. If you like this video, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I will see y'all soon.